Someone has been thinking about you constantly. There's a person who cannot get you out of their mind, and what they're realizing right now is changing everything. They're seeing things they were blind to before. They're understanding truths about themselves, about you, about what happened between you that they couldn't comprehend when you were together. And this awakening, this massive shift happening inside of them, is bringing them to their knees in the most humbling way possible. You may have felt confused, hurt, or abandoned by this person's actions. You may have wondered why they pushed you away when the connection between you felt so real, so powerful, but what I'm seeing in the cards today is that they finally understand. They finally get it, and they're ready to take accountability for everything they put you through. Hello, beautiful souls. This is Crystal from Spiritual Infusion Guidance. Before we dive deeper, I want to remind you that this is a collective reading for everyone watching. Not every message will resonate with your specific situation, so please take only what speaks to your soul and release the rest to the universe with love. The first energy coming through is so powerful. I'm hearing the words, "I've made so many mistakes in the past and I'm trying to fix them. Don't take this personally. It really is me who is the problem." These words carry so much weight because what's being revealed here is that your person, your special someone, is having a massive wake-up call. This isn't a small realization. This is a complete transformation of how they see everything. They're looking at the connection between you with fresh eyes, with clarity they never had before. For some of you, this person may have been dealing with work stress, family obligations, or personal struggles that consumed them. For others, this person may have been wrestling with deep-seated fears from past relationships. Perhaps they were betrayed, abandoned, or hurt so badly that they built walls around their heart without even realizing it, but now those walls are crumbling. They're seeing the truth about themselves. They're understanding that their pride, their ego, their stubbornness, and yes, their selfishness caused them to create problems that didn't need to exist. They operated from a place of self-protection rather than from a place of love. And being without you has been one of the most humbling experiences of their life. I'm getting that this person is saying to you energetically, "I see now that so many of the problems between us came from my fears and insecurities. Things that had nothing to do with you, but everything to do with unhealed wounds I've been carrying for years, maybe even decades. You showed me through your light, through your love, that I could have a better life if I released these burdens." And I know you've been praying for me. For those of you who have been sending this person love and light from a distance, who have been praying for their healing and growth, they feel it. They may not have acknowledged it before, but now they understand the power of your energy, your prayers, your unconditional love. It's been helping them focus on what they need to heal within themselves. This person is taking a hard look at their behavior. They're seeing where they created fights for no reason. They're recognizing how they sabotaged what could have been beautiful between you. They understand now that they confused you with mixed signals, hot one day, cold the next, pulling you close and then pushing you away, opening up and then completely shutting down and disappearing. For many of you, this person ran because they were terrified. Not of you, but of themselves. They were afraid that if they let you get too close, you would discover something about them they believed was unlovable. Maybe they were afraid you'd see their flaws, their past mistakes, their vulnerabilities, and decide they weren't good enough for you. So rather than risk that pain, rather than face the possibility of you leaving them, they created a self-fulfilling prophecy. They pushed you away first. They sabotaged the connection before you could realize they weren't worthy of you. Except here's what they're understanding now: that was never going to happen. You weren't looking for perfection. You were looking for authenticity. You were looking for someone real, someone willing to grow with you. This person is saying, "I didn't believe I was worthy of this great love, of this beautiful connection we have. I was all in my head, listening to my fears instead of listening to my heart. But I see clearly now." And that shift from living in their head to living in their heart, that's everything. Because what lives in our heads? Doubts, fears, insecurities, illusions about ourselves and others. But what lives in our hearts? Truth, love, connection. Your person is finally clearing away all those cobwebs, all that old programming, and they're seeing with their soul now instead of through the lens of their trauma. They're realizing that if they had addressed these issues sooner, the two of you would already be well on your way to building something beautiful together, but they know they can't change the past. What they can do is make up for lost time. What they can do is show up differently now. I'm also hearing, I want to talk to you again and make things right between us. I'm so afraid you'll reject me. This fear of rejection has been haunting them. When they first walked away, when they first disappeared from your life, especially if they said harsh things or acted in ways they now deeply regret, they were convinced that you would never forgive them. They thought that maybe they had burned the bridge between you beyond repair. But here's what's shifting as they've been having these breakthroughs, these epiphanies, they're starting to realize something profound. You wouldn't reject them because they're sensing, they're feeling, they're understanding on a soul level that there's an unconditional love between you. A love that doesn't disappear just because someone made mistakes. A love that sees beyond the surface actions to the wounded person underneath who was doing the best they could with the tools they had. For some of you, this person may have said things they can never take back. Words spoken in anger, in fear, in self-protection. They replay those moments over and over in their minds. Those words haunt them, but they're coming to understand that you have the capacity to see past those words to the pain that caused them. They're realizing you would not reject them because you understand them in ways no one else does. You see their soul, and that's exactly why they're gathering the courage to reach out, to make contact, to try to make things right. I know I need to apologize. This is at the very top of your person's list. An apology is coming, and it's not going to be a surface level, I'm sorry. This is going to be a deep, sincere, heartfelt apology where they take full accountability for everything they put you through. They want to apologize for creating problems that didn't need to exist, sabotaging what was beautiful between you, running away instead of communicating like an adult, not sharing with you what they were truly feeling and experiencing, making you feel like you did something wrong when it was never about you. They're understanding now that if they had opened up to you about their fears, their doubts, their insecurities back then, you would have understood, you would have worked with them, because that's who you are: compassionate, kind, nurturing, giving, affectionate. You would have helped them work through those emotional issues instead of forcing them to face everything alone. They see this now. They understand that you were never going to judge them for their past or their struggles. You were going to support them through it. But they were too afraid to trust that. They were too locked in their own pain to see your love clearly. The apology you'll receive won't be about sweeping things under the rug and pretending nothing happened. No, they want to have real, honest conversations about everything. They want to give you a solid, truthful explanation for why they behaved the way they did. They want you to understand the experiences that shaped them, the wounds they've been carrying, so that you can see the full picture of who they are. When I pulled the cards for this reading, Justice appeared, and this is so significant. Justice tells us that there is a soul blueprint between you and this person. This isn't just a casual connection that can be walked away from without consequence. There is unfinished business here. There are obligations, agreements made on a soul level before either of you entered this lifetime. In every lifetime, certain souls come together to help each other grow, to teach each other lessons, to support each other's evolution. You and this person have that kind of bond. And right now, you've been on separate individual journeys, learning lessons apart from each other. But that's not where this story ends. There are life lessons and experiences and growth that can only happen when you're together. That's part of your soul contract with each other. Your person is waking up to this truth. They're beginning to understand that walking away from you wasn't just walking away from a relationship. It was walking away from something they agreed to on the deepest level of their being. Justice is also about balance, about fairness, about equal give and take. Your person can see now where they failed to give back to you in the way you deserved. They can see where things were imbalanced, where you were giving and giving while they were taking and taking without reciprocating your love, your energy, your effort. They want to restore that balance. They want to show up as an equal partner who gives as much as they receive, who supports you the way you've supported them. Justice is ruled by Libra, but you don't have to be a Libra for this message to apply to you. This is about the energy of fairness, of making things right, of honoring sacred agreements, and that's exactly what your person intends to do. The Emperor appeared right after Justice, and this is such a powerful confirmation. The Emperor doesn't sit around waiting for things to happen. The Emperor doesn't procrastinate or second guess. The Emperor makes a plan and executes it with determination and confidence. Your person is stepping into this Emperor energy. They're done being passive. They're done letting fear control their choices. They're rising up to make things happen because they want you back in their life, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to repair what was broken. The Emperor is ruled by Aries and connected to Mars, the planet of action, of movement, of forward momentum. This energy is about breaking through stuck situations, ending limbo, and creating real, tangible change in the physical world. With the Emperor on the table, failure is not an option. When your person comes back, they're coming back with a strategy. They've thought this through. They know what they need to say, what they need to do, how they need to show up differently. The Emperor is also the most mature card in the entire tarot deck. This confirms that your person is genuinely growing up. They're leaving behind childish patterns of avoidance and self-protection. They're stepping into mature, responsible, accountable energy. They're ready to be the partner you deserve. The Moon appeared next, and this card has multiple layers of meaning for your situation. First, your person loves to dream about you. They connect with you in the 5D, in dreams, in meditation, in those quiet moments when they close their eyes and feel your energy. For some of you, you may have been dreaming about this person too. You may have felt them reaching out to you energetically, even though there's been no physical contact. What's interesting is that connecting with you in the 5D creates an even more powerful burning desire to connect with you in the 3D, in the physical world. Every time they feel your energy, every time they dream about you, it intensifies their need to reach out, to make contact, to bridge the gap between you. But the Moon also represents melancholy and sadness. Your person feels genuine grief over the mistakes they made, over hurting you, over breaking your heart. This sadness, this guilt, this remorse, it's with them constantly. And they know that the only way to relieve this heavy burden is to show up and apologize to you directly. The Moon is also about the subconscious mind, and this is where the real transformation is happening for your person. Our subconscious is where our fears live, where our illusions hide, where our deepest programming resides. Those fears and illusions are what caused your person to create problems in the first place. But now, with the light of the Moon illuminating everything, they're addressing those subconscious patterns. They're bringing awareness to what was hidden. They're clearing out the old programming that made them believe they weren't worthy of love, that made them afraid of intimacy, that made them sabotage anything good in their life. This is deep, transformative work, and it's the work that needed to happen for this person to be able to show up for you in the way you deserve. The Nine of Swords is not an easy card, but it's doing important work in your person's life. This card represents worry, anxiety, sleepless nights, mental anguish. When it appears next to the Moon, it intensifies everything your person has been through or is still in a period of genuine difficulty. They're tossing and turning at night, unable to sleep because their mind won't stop replaying everything that happened between you. They're experiencing a heavy sense of grief, loss, sorrow. But here's what's important to understand. This difficulty is serving a purpose. This dark night of the soul is waking them up. The Nine of Swords brings epiphanies through suffering. It brings clarity through pain. Your person needed to feel this depth of loss to truly understand what they gave up when they walked away from you. There's also anxiety about how to approach you. They're overthinking the words they'll say, analyzing the best approach, worrying that maybe you won't forgive them. But here's the thing, even with this anxiety, the Emperor energy we saw earlier means they're going to push through their fears and reach out anyway. They're spending considerable time thinking about all of this because they don't want to mess it up again. They want to get it right this time. They want their words and actions to match. They want to show up in a way that honors you and honors the connection between you. The Three of Swords represents heartbreak, sorrow, and painful realizations. Your person is experiencing their own broken heart, not just because you're not in each other's lives, but because they're fully comprehending now the damage they caused. This is a powerful teacher. Sometimes we don't truly understand the value of what we had until we lose it. Sometimes we don't appreciate the gift someone was offering us until they're no longer there, offering it. Your person is learning these lessons the hard way. And while you might feel tempted to feel sorry for them, understand that this is exactly what they needed. They chose to do things the hard way by running away instead of facing their fears while you were together. The consequences of that choice are teaching them lessons they'll never forget. This heartbreak is cracking them open. It's making them question everything they thought they knew about themselves, about love, about what truly matters. And out of this brokenness, a new version of them is emerging, someone stronger, wiser, more capable of standing in the power of real love. They're evolving and changing in exactly the ways that are necessary for this connection to work long term. They're growing up and they want to complete this journey with you by their side. What a beautiful contrast, the Nine of Swords followed by the Nine of Cups. These two cards together show the complete journey your person has been on, from anxiety and sorrow to happiness and fulfillment. The Nine of Cups is often called the wish card in tarot. It represents happiness, joy, emotional fulfillment, contentment, abundance of love. And what this card is revealing is profound. Your person is happiest when you're in each other's lives. When you were spending time together, even with all the dysfunction and confusion they created, they felt more alive, more joyful, more content than they ever have with anyone else. You brought something into their life they had never experienced before, a deep soul-level happiness that can't be replicated with anyone else. Now that you're apart, they're realizing this truth more clearly than ever. They're understanding that all the superficial things they might have been chasing, validation from others, distractions, ego gratification, none of it compares to the genuine joy they felt when they were with you. They're admitting to themselves now that you complete them. You're not just someone they enjoy spending time with, you're the missing piece of their soul. You're the person who makes them feel whole. You fulfill everything they ever wished for or hoped for in a romantic partner. This isn't about them putting you on a pedestal or making you responsible for their happiness. This is about them recognizing the rare, precious gift of the connection between you, a connection that brings out the best in both of you when you allow it to flow freely. And then the Empress appeared, right after the Emperor. This is so significant, I need you to really hear this. The Emperor and the Empress together represent the divine masculine and divine feminine in perfect balance. This is the ultimate royal couple in the tarot. This is sacred partnership. This is divine union. I've been seeing this combination appear more and more frequently in collective readings over the past month, and I believe it's a sign that union energy is intensifying for many twin flames, soulmates, and divine counterparts. The universe is orchestrating reunions. Sacred partnerships are being restored. For your specific situation, the Empress carries multiple messages. First, your person feels an incredible amount of love for you. Not just surface attraction, though yes, they're extremely attracted to you physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. But beyond that, they see you as someone special, someone rare. They see your nurturing nature, your kindness, your compassion, your capacity to love unconditionally. The Empress represents someone who is a mover and shaker in their own life. You're not someone who sits around waiting for life to happen to you. You create, you build, you nurture growth in yourself and others. Your person sees this about you and they're in awe of it. Second, the Empress reveals that even from a distance, you've been helping this person just by holding them in the light, by praying for them, by believing in them, by having faith in them. You've supported their healing journey. You've sent them energy when they needed it most, even if you didn't consciously realize you were doing it. The Empress energy is about that kind of giving, empathetic, compassionate love that asks for nothing in return. Third, and this is huge, the Empress is about long-term commitment. This card represents serious partnership, the kind that lasts. For many of you, this energy is pointing toward marriage or a marriage-level commitment. Now, you don't have to get legally married if that's not aligned with your values or desires. Different couples create commitment in different ways. But what this card is saying is that your person wants it all with you. They want the depth, the permanence, the I choose you for life kind of commitment. The Empress is telling us that your person sees you as the one, not just someone they want to date casually or see where things go, the one they want to build a life with, the one they want to wake up next to for the rest of their days, the one they want to grow old with. This is about the two of you forming a union and continuing your journey through life side by side in true partnership. Let me pull some oracle cards now to see what additional messages are coming through. This card confirms everything we've been seeing. Your person is actively facing their fears right now. The fears that controlled them before, fear of vulnerability, fear of rejection, fear of not being enough, they're confronting all of it. They're releasing the power those fears had over them. They're no longer allowing those old patterns to dictate their choices. And when they return to you, they're going to embody that Emperor energy we talked about. Confident, courageous, clear about what they want. They're not going to be full of fear and doubt anymore. They're going to be fierce and fearless in their pursuit of this connection because they've done the work, they've faced the shadows, they've emerged transformed. This card shows a phoenix rising from the ashes, and the symbolism is perfect. Your person feels like they've burned things down between you. They're hoping, praying that they haven't destroyed the bridge connecting you completely. They want to cross that bridge and reach you. They want to see if you're willing to have a new beginning with them, because they genuinely want to start over, to leave the past behind, to create something fresh and beautiful together. They want to share everything with you now, the experiences that wounded them, the patterns that shaped them, the fears that controlled them. They want you to truly understand what makes them tick and why they treated you the way they did. Not as an excuse, but as an explanation. Not to justify their behavior, but to give you the full picture so you can make an informed choice about whether you want to move forward together. They're ready to emerge from the ashes of what was and co-create something new with you, a relationship built on honesty, authenticity, communication, and genuine partnership. This card shows a dancing goddess surrounded by butterflies, symbols of transformation. Both of you have been transforming during this time apart. You've been growing, healing, evolving, so have they. Now it's time to bring that transformation to the relationship itself. It's time to get the two of you moving forward together so you can begin your new life as partners. Your person has been having epiphany after epiphany, breakthrough after breakthrough. They're seeing with clarity they never had before, and all of that insight is pointing them back to you. Your prayers for them have been heard. The universe has been working behind the scenes, orchestrating their healing, their growth, their awakening, and you're going to see the fruits of all that inner work when they show up again. Yes, an apology card appeared. This confirms what we already knew. Your person knows they need to apologize. More than that, they want to apologize. They're carrying a heavy burden of guilt, and it weighs on them constantly. Every day they think about how they hurt you, how they confused you, how they broke your heart. That guilt is overwhelming, but it's also motivating them to reach out. They know that the only way to release this burden is to face you, to own what they did, to ask for your forgiveness. Not because they feel entitled to it, but because they want the opportunity to make things right. Your person has had a massive shift in perspective. When they come back to you, they're going to have a clear head, or actually, they're going to be out of their head entirely and fully in their heart. They're not going to be questioning everything like they did before. They're not going to be combative or defensive. They're not going to create drama or problems. They're going to go with the flow and allow things to unfold naturally and organically between you. They see things so differently now. Where they once saw reasons to be afraid, they now see opportunities to love. Where they once saw your vulnerability as weakness, they now see it as strength. Where they once saw the connection as something to fear, they now see it as the greatest gift of their life. This card is interesting because it's confirming that your person is genuinely better off now than they were when you were together. Not because you weren't good for them, but because they've done the inner work necessary to heal their wounds. They've spent this time apart looking within, asking themselves hard questions. Why did I do this? What was wrong with me? Why did I allow my fears to control me? What caused me to behave in such a hurtful way? And by answering those questions honestly, they've gained clarity. They've healed parts of themselves that were broken. They've released patterns that no longer serve them. They've become a better version of themselves. Now they're ready to bring that better version back to you. This card perfectly describes how your person was operating in the past. Did they send you mixed signals? Absolutely. Did they confuse you with their hot and cold behavior? Yes. Were their emotions blocked, and were they emotionally messed up? Without question. But this card is showing up to confirm that they see this now. They understand how their heart fog, those illusions and fears that clouded their judgment, caused them to treat you in ways that were confusing and hurtful. They had a wall around their heart, they blocked their emotions, they sent mixed messages because they themselves were confused about what they wanted versus what they were afraid of. But that's not who they are anymore. The fog has lifted, the wall is coming down. Their words and actions are going to be in alignment now. You're going to know exactly where you stand with them because they're going to be clear, direct, and honest. They realize that making you confused was cruel. You were trying to understand them, trying to help them, trying to give them your best, and they responded with chaos because they were in chaos internally. They're not in that space anymore. They found clarity, they found peace, they found themselves, and now they're ready to find their way back to you. This final card is beautiful. It's about being receptive, vulnerable, and open. When your person returns, they're going to come with an open heart. They're going to be vulnerable in ways they couldn't be before. They're going to let down their guard and let you in fully, completely, without reservation. They understand now that the wall they built between you, that protected heart that wouldn't let you close, that was what destroyed everything. That wall kept love from flowing freely between you. It created distance where there should have been intimacy. They're smashing down that wall. They want to experience an open heart connection with you where love flows back and forth effortlessly, where neither of you is holding back, where you can both be completely yourselves without fear of judgment or rejection. They're saying to you, I have always loved you. I was just too afraid to show you the depth of that love. I was too afraid to be vulnerable. But I realize now that holding on to those fears, that emotional baggage from my past, was destroying the best thing in my life. And I refuse to let fear win anymore. I'm coming back to you with an open heart if you'll have me. And that's all I have for you in today's reading, beautiful souls. I hope this message brought you clarity, comfort, and hope. Your person is having a genuine awakening. They're seeing the truth about themselves and about this connection, and they're preparing to make things right between you. Trust in divine timing. Trust in the journey both of you have been on. The growth that needed to happen is happening. The healing that was necessary is taking place, and reunion energy is building. If this reading resonated with you, please subscribe to Spiritual Infusion Guidance. Your support means the world and helps me continue bringing these messages to you. Sending you so much love and light, beautiful souls. This is Crystal, and I'll see you in the next reading.